I still remember the way the sunlight danced across my engagement ring the morning everything fell apart. I was standing in my mother's kitchen, laughing with my sister Emma while we planned my bridal shower. Daniel, my fiancé of 3 years, was supposed to be the man I would grow old with. The one who made me feel safe. The one who promised forever. But forever ended with a single text message I wasn't supposed to see. It was a quiet Tuesday evening. Daniel had left his phone on the coffee table while he went to take a shower. A message lit up the screen. My heart stopped when I saw my sister's name. You left your jacket here last night, and I'm still wearing your shirt, face blowing a kiss. My hands started shaking. I told myself it had to be a mistake. Maybe it was an old message. Maybe I was reading it wrong. But when I opened their chat, the truth spilled out like ice water down my spine. Months of secret meetings. Late night drives. Lies stacked on top of lies while I was busy planning our wedding. I waited for him to come out of the shower. When he saw my face, he didn't even try to deny it at first. He just stood there, water dripping from his hair, looking at me like I was the problem. That night, I drove to my parents' house with tears streaming down my face. I thought they would hold me. I thought they would be furious for me. Instead, my mother looked uncomfortable while my father sighed and said, "These things are complicated, sweetheart. Let's not rush to destroy everything." And Emma? She sat there with tears in her eyes too, playing the victim, saying she never meant for this to happen. I left the house feeling more alone than I had ever felt in my entire life. But the real knife in my heart came 2 weeks later. When my family invited them both to my cousin's engagement party. They invited my cheating fiancé and my backstabbing sister. As a couple, the betrayal didn't just break my heart. It shattered my entire world. For days I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every moment, wondering how blind I had been. The family dinners where Daniel and Emma would exchange glances. The times she would casually ask about his schedule. The way she hugged him just a little too long at my birthday party last year. I confronted my mother again. I begged her to understand how deeply they had hurt me. Her response crushed what was left of my spirit. Family is family, Sarah. Emma is your sister. Daniel has been like a son to us. We can't just throw them away because of one mistake. One mistake? They had been sleeping together for 7 months. 7 months of my life that I had spent loving them both with everything I had. My younger brother tried to stay neutral, but even he eventually started saying, "Maybe you should just move on. They seem really sorry." Sorry. As if an apology could erase the images burning in my mind. I lost weight. I lost sleep. I lost pieces of myself I didn't know could be taken. Some nights I sat in my car outside my parents' house, watching them all inside laughing together like nothing had happened. Like I was the one being dramatic. The loneliness was suffocating. Friends who knew the story slowly distanced themselves. "It's too messy," they said. "We don't want to pick sides." I had never felt so invisible. So replaceable. The man I loved and the sister I grew up with had not only betrayed me, they had turned my own blood against me. But in that darkness, something slowly started to shift inside me. The pain didn't disappear, but it began to transform. The tears turned into quiet rage. The broken girl who cried every night slowly woke up and looked at herself in the mirror. I realized something important. No one was coming to save me. Not my parents. Not my brother. Not my so-called friends. I had to save myself. I stopped begging for their understanding. I stopped explaining my pain to people who didn't want to hear it. Instead, I started focusing on me. I threw myself into work. I redecorate my apartment. I started going to therapy. I began rebuilding my life brick by brick, even while my heart was still bleeding. They thought I was defeated. They thought I would eventually forgive and forget so we could all play happy family again. They were wrong. 6 months later, I did something they never expected. I didn't scream. I didn't cause a scene. I did something much more powerful. I succeeded without them. I launched the small interior design business I had always dreamed about. Within months, it started growing faster than I could have imagined. My work was featured in a local magazine. I was invited to speak at a women's networking event. My name started spreading in the right circles. And then came the moment I've been quietly waiting for. My parents' 30th wedding anniversary party. The entire family was invited, including Daniel and Emma, who are now officially together. My mother personally called me, sounding hopeful, saying, "It would mean everything if you came, Sarah. We're family." I smiled through the phone and said I wouldn't miss it. On the night of the party, I walked in wearing a stunning red dress, looking better than I had in years. The room went quiet when they saw me. Daniel's face turned pale. Emma couldn't even look me in the eyes. But I wasn't there to make a scene. I was there to close the chapter. During the toast, my father asked if anyone wanted to say a few words. I stood up gracefully. The entire room held its breath. I spoke calmly and clearly. I want to thank my family for teaching me one of the most valuable lessons of my life. Blood doesn't always mean loyalty. And sometimes the greatest gift someone can give you is betrayal, because it forces you to become the strongest version of yourself. I looked directly at Daniel and Emma. I forgive you both. Not because you deserve it, but because I refuse to carry your poison inside me anymore. I'm building a beautiful life. And I truly hope you both become the kind of people who never do this to anyone else again. The silence was deafening. I set down the microphone, hugged my shocked parents, and walked out with my head held high. I didn't slam the door. I closed it gently, with peace. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. My brother started reaching out. A few cousins apologized. Even my mother admitted she had been wrong. Daniel and Emma's relationship fell apart 3 months later. The guilt and shame eventually destroyed what they tried to build on my broken heart. As for me, I'm finally at peace. I learned that sometimes your greatest revenge isn't destroying others. It's healing so beautifully that they're forced to watch you shine from the outside, knowing they can never touch your light again. If you're going through betrayal right now, hear me clearly. Your pain is valid. Your anger is valid. But don't let them keep your power. Take it back. Build your life so brightly that their darkness becomes nothing but a faded memory. You deserve that. And one day you will have it.